Hello, everyone. This is Nephi Wolf with NCSI, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the Extraction Sync program and how we can use that with a business intelligence server, Microsoft Power BI. So the way that Service Manager is set up, it has its connection to its own SQL server in the cloud, but nothing is allowed to connect to that SQL server. So Power BI, that cannot connect to the cloud SQL server. So there's two different options that we have. The first option is that we can pay for a bid server, which is basically SQL replication. So the Ivanti can take the cloud extraction, or not extraction, but the SQL server, and they can mirror that data over to this copied or this mirrored server, this bid server. So you can get access to that. So you can pay for that, and then your Power BI that can connect directly to the bid server, and it can get up-to-date information. It can get access to all of the tables, everything that's there. But that is a paid service. Your other option is that Ivanti has a program called Extraction Sync, which is a free program. And the Extraction Sync program, it can talk to the API in the cloud, and it can run a query, for example, select the first 100 incidents from Service Manager, and then when the API responds with those values, it'll then save it locally in an Extraction Sync database that you set up. So it can save it locally on your network, and then you can point Power BI to that local SQL server. And so this is a free program, so there's no cost involved in that. And so with that, the one thing that I'd like to point out with that, though, is that so if we run this quick query, so in the Extraction Sync database, there's about 64 tables in there. So there's a lot of different tables for the configuration items, for incidents, changes, problems, lots of different tables in there. But in a full extraction, or in a full Service Manager database, there's actually around 1,100 tables in there. And there's a lot more stuff in there, things for alert categories and things like that, that you probably don't need. But just so you're aware, not everything comes through Extraction Sync. Most everything does, and it's very good for reporting purposes. But there may be some unusual data that you're looking for, or something that might not come through Extraction Sync. But it is a free program, and you can download it, and I'll put the link there. So that's the difference in those. You could pay for the bid server, or you can use the free Extraction Sync. With the Extraction Sync program, let's switch back over to my extraction server here. So with Extraction Sync, you'll come in here and you'll just point it to your cloud environment, and then you'll set up an API key, and there's a few other settings here. And I'm not going to go into detail because there's actually another video that shows you how to do this. But you can point it to your cloud tenant, and then you can download the data on a regular basis. And then you can just see that it goes through, and every 15 minutes or every half an hour, it'll go through and it'll download the data. And you can set it up how often you want it to run. Do you want it to download the data every minute or every hour? But as it does that, then this will query the API, and it will pull that data to its local database on your network. And then with Power BI, and you can just open up Power BI, and you can connect to that local SQL server. So we can just put in the information here. Extraction Sync is what I called it. And then, let's see, I think I wrote a query here that just has a few different things in it. So we can put this into the query. So we can just query that database. We can run all sorts of SQL manipulation and things. So then we see this information, and now we can use Power BI to report on that. So we can just load that data there. And if you're familiar with Power BI, you can create all sorts of reports here. You can drag and drop things, the different columns, customers in there, so we can see how many incidents each customer has, and we can create lots of different reports using Power BI. So if you're more familiar with Power BI, then this is a great way of just pulling that data out of the cloud and putting it on your local environment so you can use Power BI. The other option is that you could always use Extraction. That's another program. It's free to use. You can use that for reporting. So if you're looking for Extraction to create reports, we have another series on how to use that. But hopefully this is, makes some good sense on, you understand your different options here. You can pay for the bids SQL Server, so that'll be mirrored, and you can get access to everything there. So the Power BI server, that can query every single table that exists, or you can use the extraction sync to pull the data down to your local network. You won't be able to get everything, but in my experience, you'll be able to get most everything that you want. It does grab quite a bit of the information that our customers are using. So hopefully you find that useful. And if you have any questions, give us a call.